Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. And we have sort of kind of just finished Puccini, and we are moving on to Prokofiev. I say sort of kind of because there are two Puccinis left, but I didn't want to make a separate video because I like having an even distribution of subject matter. So I do have down here Puccini's Edgar, with, Domingo, the Deutsche Grammophon one, and the Levine Tosca with Itzhak Perlman singing The Jailer. The Itzhak Perlman Tosca. It's with Renato Scotto. It's very good too, and that's fine. So that's the end of Puccini. But now we're on Prokofiev, and I have lots of Prokofiev. I guess I like Prokofiev more than I thought I did, because when I look and see what's there, I just see it keeps growing. And we've accumulated a ton, and I've got a ton of it upstairs too. And there's some really marvelous, sort of interesting finds, like this one, for example, that I got from Japan. Prokofiev Symphony No. 5 with the NHK Symphony Orchestra and Lieutenant Kijé, Kirill Kondrashin conducting. There are all these wonderful Japanese imports. Some of you have many more of them than I do. I know because, in our discussions you mentioned them. But I did very selectively buy some of these Japanese NHK productions and others because, they're major conductors and things I was curious about. When they duplicate performances with the same people that I already have, I don't usually make a huge effort to get them just because they happen to be in Japan. Even though you're going to get really top-notch production values, usually, at least sonically. The orchestras can be somewhat second-rate sometimes. But this was nice to have, so I got that because it's Kondrashin. They're very good performances. Not my faves, but certainly decent, respectable, and wonderful conductor. So that's that one. Oh, yes. This I have 400 versions of one way or another. And it really has very little to do with Prokofiev. This is the Scythian Suite with the Staatskapelle Berlin under Witold Rowicki, which is kind of interesting. But even more so is the Rite of Spring with the Staatskapelle Dresden under Ottmar Sweetner, one of the great rites of spring. Moderate in tempo, insanely vicious, with the orchestra just having the time of its life, even if you can hear them counting, it seems like. Really powerful, heavy-duty Rite of Spring, German sort of, it's just great. Absolutely great. And it was issued with different couplings. It was also issued with Jeu de Cartes with Herbert Kegel, I believe. So, I have like all the different versions of it 100 different ways, and I stuffed it everywhere I could so that I would never not have one handy. Because back in those days, you would hear one of these performances on some strange label. This was Berlin Classics, but in those days, especially after the fall of the Berlin Wall, all of this stuff was getting licensed and relicensed and delicensed, and you didn't know how long it was going to survive or what label it would turn up on. And so you just grabbed what you could grab, and you stuffed some of them in your regular collection and others in the Overflow room. So there you go. And it really had very little to do with Prokofiev, but that Scythian Suite's fun to listen to as well. Then we've got Prokofiev Piano Concertos 3 and 5 and Sonata number 7. Let's see who's doing these things with Samson Francois. Yeah, it's great to have these with the Philharmonia Orchestra and Konstantin Silvestri. Well, that's different. And Paul Kletsky, the Witold Rowicki, is doing the Prokofiev. Witness his Scythian Suite that we just discussed. You also get the Schumann Piano Concerto and the two Liszt Piano Concertos. Those are with Kletsky and Silvestri. These were recorded in 1959 and 1963, but now, of course, all of this stuff is in the jumbo Samson Francois box. No one talks about his Prokofiev, actually, but it's estimable. It really is. He was a wonderful pianist, and he's fun to listen to, irrespective of what he's doing. It's definitely interesting. Then we've got, the 5 piano concertos with Abdel Rahman El-Bacha, and the Monet Symphony Orchestra with Kazushi Ono on Fuga Libera. Yeah, this came out and nobody cared. That's the truth. Is it bad? No. Is it great? No. Is it interesting? Variably, in spots. It just sort of exists. And so I kept it because I collect Prokofiev piano concertos. Why not? Then we've got the Stoneflower with the Bolshoi and Orchestral. I mean, now I think there are other complete stone flowers, maybe one or two, but this was the one. Back in the day, it is in stereo, thank God. And it's a Melodia recording from 1968. There we go, and they didn't sound too dreadful. You know, this is not Prokofiev's greatest ballet. There's no question about it. It has lovely dances in it, as of course it must. It's a very socialist, realist work, and not the most inspired. I mean, especially after Romeo, Juliet, and Cinderella, or the great early short ballets, you know, the experimental ones. So, yeah, but you have to have it, don't you? I mean, you just got to have it. Now, all of the Prokofiev ballets were issued in a deluxe Superfund box, which I made a video about. So you can go and take a look at that. And this is in there. But, you know, I had it separately first. This was the Melodia BMG release, back in the days when BMG licensed Melodia stuff. Remember, there was a sort of Melodia merry-go-round. First, you know, Warner licensed it, and then, you know, Sony had licensed some of it, and then BMG licensed it, and everybody licensed it, and then they all got rid of it, and it was a whole mess. Then what do we got here? Oh, yeah, some of these Everest titles. Oh, these are fun. Everest, what is this? Prokofiev Fifth with Malcolm Sargent, the London Symphony. This is the Sargent Everest stuff. Tchaik 5, Pictures at an Exhibition. Prokofiev 5, A Night on Bald Mountain. And the bonus track, Franz Liszt Funérailles with Jorge Bolet. Wow! Yeah, oh, this is fun, from 1959, 60, and 61. So that's worth keeping just for what it is. You know, Sargent was seldom the most compelling conductor, you know, in that repertoire, but what the heck, you know? I mean, you know, you get to be a certain age, you don't even care if it's good or it's bad. You just care that it exists, and you can go back and reminisce and think about, you know, the way things were. And then we've got the Stokowski thing. Now, this is all getting reissued. All these Stokowski Everest and Vanguard titles are coming out on alto in a box quite shortly. I'm telling you now. Thank God Todd Landor has gotten it all together, which I actually suggested that he do for several years. So I'm glad that he did it. I take full credit for that, by the way. And we've got Villalobos, Oirapuru, that wonderful tone poem, and this Modinha thing, and Prokofiev's Cinderella Suite, and The Ugly Duckling with Regina Resnick, and DBC's Children's Corner. The Cinderella Suite is the Prokofiev bit, obviously. Having these Stokowski recordings back is just going to be wonderful. So just wait and don't worry about it. Then we've got Walter Susskind and the London Symphony doing Prokofiev's ballet suite from Shu, the Buffoon, and Lieutenant Kijé Suite with Malcolm Sargent. The Shu excerpts are terrific. The Kijé, well, there's better ones. But again, yeah, nifty. When these things came out, I snagged them when I could because I knew they would disappear. And they did. But, of course, nothing ever disappears permanently, does it? It's all coming back. Then we've got Martha Argerich and Mikhail Pletnev doing Cinderella transcribed for 2 pianos and Mother Goose for piano 4 hands. The Ravel, that is, Mother Goose, with Argerich and Pletnev. This is very, very good. It really is. The Cinderella stuff is just wonderful to hear in these arrangements. And, of course, you know, they play like demons. So, I mean, there's nothing to not love. And then we've got Cinderella Suites with Slatkin and St. Louis. These are all first rate. Absolutely first rate. Very well recorded. You know, Slatkin had a great deal going because RCA basically told him he could do whatever he wanted. It was back in the days when you could get away with that stuff. And we really very, very desperately need a complete Slatkin RCA box. There was an American box that wasn't complete, by the way. He did tremendous, tremendous stuff for RCA. It's one of the best modern collections of recordings that they have. So it would really be good if they devoted some time and attention to it while he's still with us to enjoy, bask in the adulation or something like that. Anyway, so there you have it, my friends. Keep on listening. Lots more Prokofiev. Oh, my God, tons more to come. Take care.